of good creativity. We get free, be me, work it effortlessly. Do what you love and then allow the prosperity. You got this. Make good, make it your own. You know you got the power in your mind, heart, body, and soul to grow dreams, grow faith, grow you. Create authentically the garden of good. Live, and love. In a God gonna dig big and trust. In a God gonna create, elevate, celebrate, and love. To the garden. Hey. I hope that you are feeling the love from your very favorite intro song ever. Pray, play, slay. Welcome to the Garden of Good, everyone. I'm Amy Steinberg, and this is my home in Asheville, North Carolina, as you all know. First thing we're going to do today is I'm just going to remind you of what we're doing here in the Garden of Good. Today, the theme is hope, which is a very controversial theme in the New Thought world. So I'm going to go ahead and right out of the gate say, I'm pro-hope. And as a gardener of good, I invite you to allow yourself to be pro-hope today. The Garden of Good, why are we here? What are we doing? The Garden of Good is here to nourish creativity and connection with contemplative play. We make good. Listen, we're not really making anything, right? Like everything already exists, but we make good, like I'm making good of it by showing up honestly and creating together. Amen, a women, ashe, and so it is. The Garden of Good is 4 12-week sessions based upon my book. And we are approaching the end already, can you believe it, of the heart quarter, where each quarter we pick a root and a fruit, something inside that we want to work on, and then it creates fruits. And we will check in today on where everybody is with their roots and fruits. These are the rules of the garden. Number 1, kindness. To yourself, number 1. Be very kind to yourself as you open your creative portal. Just open that creative portal. That's where joy lives. When you just open yourself to scribble and draw and think and write and not judge, just create, just open you. Gardener's choice means that you get to do as much or as little as you want. For instance, I'm going to invite you to sing here in a minute, and you can choose to sing or you can choose to just listen to the singing. It's up to you. Camera optional even. You don't even have to show your face. You can just sit here and listen. And it is confidential. If that word offends you, good. I'm teaching you about your boundaries. And before we even go into saying our hellos and where we're watching from, I wanted to sing right away to open up this energy. So if you just take some deep breaths in with me and relax, we're just going to do the chorus of my song Hope, since today the theme is hope. And then we're going to check in. We're going to see where everybody is watching from. Hang on, ain't gonna be long. Stay strong, walk through, walk on. Be still, hand over your will. Give up control, let it be, let it go. Hope, 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 hope. It's easy. Hope, 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 hope. Now some of you guys are like Amy Steinberg fans, so you might know this song. But if you don't know this song, I hope you take a moment to learn this catchy little chorus. We'll do it a couple times. Hang on, here we go. Sing it with me. Hang on, it ain't gonna be long. Stay strong, walk through, walk on. Be still, hand over your will. Give up control, let it be, let it go. Hope, 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 hope. It's easy. Hope, I love it. Hope, hope, hope. Sing it with me. Hang on, it ain't gonna be long. Stay strong, walk through, walk on. Be still, hand over your will. Give up control, let it be, let it go. Hope, hope, hope. on hope for a while. Hope. See these long breaths and these long held out notes do wonders for your parasympathetic nervous system. It'll calm you down. So sing with me, sing hope. Big breath. Hope. Make it your own. Whatever note you want. Hope, hope, hope. Oh, 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 hope. Hope, 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 hope. Hang on, it ain't gonna be long. Stay strong, walk through, walk on. Be still, hand over your will. Give up control, let it be, let it go. I said hope, 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 hope. Hope, 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 hope. Yeah, I see Lisa getting down with me. Hope, 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 hope.
As we land here in this space, and breathe in all this love. Hope is an energy that can always be reached for, and so I reach for hope now, allowing hope to infuse my mind, my heart, and my spirit. I remember who I am in this and every moment. I am divine energy. I am the creative field of life. I am filled with peace when I remember there is always hope, no matter what.
So you have entered into the gift of gratitude that you are going to be giving to yourself and to everyone else. So what I'm going to invite you to do now is, if you are using your book, remember to use a buffer page. I have a pretty thick page that I put between anything that I write and my book, just so it doesn't bleed through to the next page. I know these pages can be a little bit thin. You can also just choose to use pencil or a lighter color for your gratitude list. So the ultimate feel-good tool. What are you grateful about today? So let's fill in our gratitudes together. And then as we're writing them, again, speak them into the space. What are you grateful about today? Fresh water.
A day off.
Deep breaths.
Hearts.
Love.
A working computer.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The internet.
Sunshine.
Doodling tools.
Say it again.
Sorry, my dog's talking at the same time. Doodling tools, crayons, markers,
Oh,
craft
doodling
paper.
tools. I just like, we should all say that a few times. Doodling tools. Doodling tools. Yes, very good. Doodling tools. That's going to make my list. Doodling tools. The English language. I'm very grateful for the English language. I love words. I'm going to put words. Because this whole book is about words. This whole book is inspired by words. Susie, is this your first time here? And did you do have a book, don't you? Yeah, great. Awesome. So you're going to be going through this with us.
Yeah,
It is so good to see you out in San Diego.
This is my
I love
second
you.
time, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's so good to see you back. Okay, I'm going to say colors. I'm really grateful for colors, even though my gratitude list is just turning into like a gray and pink thing.
New ukuleles. I just got a new one.
Come on now. We applaud that. See, look, I'm coloring in my heart as I'm doing it, just so you know. And we do this once a week together, but I encourage you to do this every single day on your own. This is one of those home play things you can do every day. Page right here is this piece of art, which introduces hope. And this piece was called Through the Darkness. It's about the power of words. even when the painting, I remember when I was painting it, I was going through a tough time, and I wrote here, even when dark thoughts or feelings are filling me inside, when I choose to speak goodness, I make good and I am free. And that's kind of what this picture is. If you can see that the darkness is inside, but the speaking good is that, the love that's coming out of the mouth, like, whoops, the love, it transforms into the birds that, bring freedom. Birds are always freedom for me. Okay, the word hope instantly makes me think of the 12 steps. In particular, step 2. I had a sponsor in one of the programs that I've been in tell me to find the spiritual principle behind each step as I worked them, and hope is the principle behind step 2, which is all about insanity and doing the same shit over and over again. This step is meant to give a glimmer of hope that life can be different. And I found that to be true. Life can indeed be different any day, any way. I wrote a song called Hope, which we sang, while I was working that second step. That's the truth. I wrote that when I was working that second step. When you are in the program, 12-step program, you can work steps multiple times and see things from different angles. When I became a student of New Thought teachings, I learned that hope is not much better than despair. That's what I mentioned just now that Ernest Holmes says. It's still future tripping. And when we want to create the good, we have to know, not hope. I'm not sure if I agree with this. I think hope is imperative, especially during really turbulent times. Do you have hope? For what and why? Write about hope and what comes up for you. So on that next page, there's this place for writing, which we're actually not going to do right now. We're going to skip that because we're going to go right to our first doodle. And we'll do a roots and fruits check-in a little bit later tonight. On the next page, on page 55, it says, what color is hope? And again, I'm going to remind you to put the buffer page in because now we're really going to be coloring on this page. What color is hope? We're going to start to color. I'm going to show you what we're going to do for our doodle. And so, Bob, I think you're the first, and Susie, I'll remind you, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you an idea for this doodle. And you can take it and make it your own, okay? So this is going to be our bird of hope. So you can take a good look at that, and I'm going to guide you through drawing that. First thing we're going to do is just make a quick outline of our bird. And the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to create this little sort of body shape right in the center of the page, center bottom kind of right there. And the next thing you can do is create a tail feather like that. Then we're going to go to make our wings. Now, I'm going to show you slowly how to make the wings because wings can be a little bit overwhelming. So start by that curved line and then we're reaching up. Do you see it? And then you're going to go around and down like that. Now, listen, you can make this your own. You don't have to do it exactly like this. But this is just a simple way. Some people don't know how to color. They want guidance. Some people want to do it their own way, and that's fine. You can do it your own way. This is a very, very simple drawing. And I'm not that great at this. But these are going to be basically, we're going to try to make them even. Mine aren't as even as I'd like, but that's okay. I've been studying birds a lot because I like to make my fabric birds. So put that second little bit of the wings in there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to create these lines that go around. And this is where it can get a little bit weird or confusing. So imagine that the lines that are here are going like down. And then as they curve around, they sort of frame. They go around like that. Imagine that those are each little feathers, right? I then added a little beak and eyes. Again, this is very simple. But this next part is where you can sort of make it your own. And I'm going to tell you how I did this one. And then I'm going to invite you to do it however you want once we get started with the coloring. So I started with green because hope is from the heart, and the heart chakra is green. So as I was creating the bird's body, I thought, the body of this bird, which represents hope for me, is really about love. But for you, it could be blue. Maybe blue represents calm, and that's where your hope brings you. It's up to you. Green is the color of love. It's the color of the heart chakra. And so then I put green throughout. I peppered green like up on top of the wing and then throughout the wing. Margot's at the door. And then, of course, because, what is it but love and light? I used oranges and yellows and reds to represent the light. And I peppered all of those through my bird. I'm going to give you a ton of time to color in your bird. While you are coloring your bird, which here it is again on the screen there with me. While you are coloring your bird and thinking about hope, I'm going to give you a teeny tiny talk titled Hope Sings. Hope Sings. So, tonight in the Garden of Good, we are talking about hope. And I want to begin with one of the most beautiful metaphors for hope ever written, a tiny bird. Emily Dickinson wrote the famous poem, Hope is the Thing with Feathers. Before I read it, I'm just going to tell you a few things about Emily Dickinson. She lived in Amherst, Massachusetts in the 1800s and wrote about 1,800 poems in her lifetime. But what's remarkable is that only 10 of her poems were ever published. The rest were discovered after she died. They were tied together in little handmade booklets in her room. One of the most beloved poets in American history quietly wrote about 2,000 poems in her room. It tells you something about hope right away. Hope doesn't need applause. Hope isn't about an audience. It just simply, it sings because it wants to sing. So here's the Emily Dickinson poem. It's probably pretty small there, but I'm going to read it to you. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest is the gale, in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. Isn't that? It's a deep poem. You can go deep into it. But hope is a bird perched in the soul, singing a song without words. And interestingly enough, Emily Dickinson was accidentally being scientifically accurate about birds because birds actually do even sing in storms. Many species most strongly sing at dawn, something scientists will call the dawn chorus. And you've probably heard it before the sun is fully up. The world just fills with birdsong. One of the reasons is that sound travels further in cool, quiet air of early morning. So every morning across the earth, millions of birds are singing the day into existence. And I don't know, I just love this, that before coffee, before emails, before the news, just this great choir of hopeful creatures announcing another day has begun. Bird song itself is fascinating. It's not random noise. Most birds actually learn their songs from older birds, and young birds listen and they practice until they get it right, almost like musicians. And scientists have discovered that birds even have regional accents. How much do you love that? It's like that joke that was going around the internet where it was like the owl, my mother, the Jewish mother owl says, who? Who? Some species of birds may sing slightly different depending on where it lives. Bird songs are passed down generations. And it's kind of a signal that life continues. Hope is a signal that life continues. Hope itself has also been studied by scientists. A psychologist named Dr. Charles Snyder spent years researching hope and found that hope isn't just wishful thinking. According to his research, hope has two ingredients. The first is agency, the belief that we can move forward towards something that we want. And the second is pathways, the ability to imagine possible routes, how to get there. In other words, the brain is saying, there must be another way. Hope is the brain saying there must be another way. So when we feel hopeful, the brain releases our favorite chemical, dopamine, a chemical connected to motivation and energy, and hope literally fuels movement. It keeps us going. Hope isn't just poetic or spiritual, it is biological. Birds also do something when storms come, and I loved learning about this today. Many birds don't fight the wind. They use it. They use the air to rise. They angle their wings and let the currents lift them. So rather than resisting the storm, they use the air to rise. And maybe that is what hope is for us. Maybe hope isn't about there being no storm, things not being, it's just learning how to ride it, right? It's like that whole idea of the sailor on the stormy seas. You don't get rid of your, you sail, you adjust. So tonight I invite you to imagine the little bird that Dickinson describes, perched somewhere inside of your soul, still singing. Even when life feels uncertain, and even if things feel heavy, the bird is still there because hope is incredibly resilient. And birds are one of the most adaptable creatures on the planet. They survived extinction when extinction wiped out the dinosaurs. They migrate across oceans. Some birds travel tens of thousands of miles every year. Birds are these tiny bodies that make enormous journeys. And maybe hope is like that too. Small, but an incredible distance. And this is why what we do here in the Garden of Good matters. When we doodle, when we sing, when we write, creating something out of nothing, we are practicing possibility. And creativity and hope are so closely related. Creativity says, what if? And hope says, maybe. What if? Maybe. Those two questions can change your whole life. So tonight, if hope ever feels small, I just want you to remember these things that still happen no matter what. The sun always rises. That's one of my favorites. I always go back to that. The sun always rises, right? The tide always returns to shore. Seeds buried in the darkness always try to move toward the light. Spring always finds a way after winter. Birds always begin singing again when the morning comes. And your heart will always beat without you even asking. Your breath keeps arriving moment by moment, and the earth keeps spinning in this great silence of space. Somewhere right around the corner, a bird is still singing. Hope may be small, but it is persistent. Like the sun, like the tide, like the turning of the earth, and like that little bird. It just needs a little perch. So tonight, this is a perch, right? The Garden of Good is a time to perch. And as we create and doodle and sing, remember that hope is already here and it is still singing. We are going to do what I'm calling an acro poem, okay? An acro poem. So at the top of your page there, you can write the word because I just coined it. So now you know if you hear it anywhere else, I created it, although there's nothing new under the sun. Acro poem. So what you're going to do is you're going to write the H-O-P-E like this. And then you're going to write a line for each letter about what hope is. Now, I wrote one to give you an example. Hello, love. That's my first line. Our time has come. Possibilities are endless. Everything is going to be okay. And that's my hope poem, right? So I'm going to give you some time in some quietude to write an acro poem using hope as your first letter of each line. And now, Roots and Fruits update. Yes. Roots and Fruits. Root is the internal work that we're doing. Fruit is the out picturing. So for me, the root for this quarter has been trust, specifically about my creativity, trusting that the creative energy is going to be there and that it's going to direct me to the next right creative expression that will pay my bills. I am an artist for a living. It is what I do for a living, is I create art. And sometimes I have these big ideas that come in a big fell swoop, and I do like 14 birds. You guys saw the birds, the Showbirds series, and for about, a month or two, I'll just paint birds, and they will like fly away because it's from that place of joy. And this year, after the dollhouse, after everything with Ministar, I just wasn't feeling like I was like, oh, well, maybe it's over. It's like, maybe there's no more art. Maybe I got nothing left. So I just kind of I implemented the root of trust before I did my first fabric painting. And then I created my first fabric painting. And for the past 2 months, I've created 4 fabric paintings. And this weekend, the last of them sold. So I am creating a 5th starting today card. And I like for you to use your root word and then something having to do with what we've got going this week. We're talking about birds. We're talking about hope. We're talking about so much stuff like that. So I put my trust has wings, just like hope. My trust has wings. And I do feel like that right now. Like I feel like my life is very anytime I had another awakening that I had when it wasn't just with Martha buying that piece, but another woman is doing payments for the other bird with all the wings, the bird. She's doing payments as well, and it happened like the day after Martha decided to do hers, and I was like, okay, what the lesson here is that nothing is stagnant. As long as you keep moving, nothing is stagnant. I always am grateful for all of the love offerings that come in the Garden of Good. You can PayPal or Venmo or Cash App or Zelle. You can always even do that. And then the Garden Grams. We were talking last week in our gathering after the gathering, and we were talking about what if we all made a goal that by the end of this quarter, we all sent out one garden gram by the end of March. Just one. That means one postcard, one, even if it's an email. Okay, we're going to keep it really, really simple. One garden gram, meaning someone on the list in the garden. We have a list of emails and snail mails. And I think it's a really great idea. So we're going to now the next thing, but right before we close, we're going to do a meditation led by Anne. But the home play this week, I wanted to call it hope play. Your hope play this week is, number 1, listen for the birds. Listen for the birds and remember all these little things we learned about the birds, that in the morning that song flies faster, right? That all over the world birds are starting the day. Number 2, notice hopeful things. Notice hopeful things like babies, like sunshine, notice them. Say, well, that gives me hope. This is a big one. Plant something this week. Now, it could be literal. It could be that you put a seed in the ground right outside your house, but it also could be plant a new idea. Plant something in someone else's. And that was where I came up with send out hopeful text. Plant a positive energy out there in someone else. Send a hopeful text to someone. Not saying, I hope you're going to get the job, but I know you're going to get the job. Reverend Jeannie couldn't be here tonight. I'm not sure why she wasn't here tonight, but she's up for this big job. So send her a hopeful text. Hey, Amy announced that I know you're going to get that job. Send somebody a dose of hope this week.
Let's begin by settling in. Allow your body to soften wherever you are sitting. Let your shoulders drop just a little and let your hands rest comfortably. Take a slow breath in and a gentle breath out. Again, breathe in and breathe out. Now, allow your breath to come naturally, like the waves moving in and out along the shore. Just notice that sometimes hopeful is already happening. Your breath keeps arriving without effort, without instruction. Breath after breath, life continuing. Now, imagine a quiet early morning before the world gets busy, before phones light up, before the day begins asking anything of you. There is just the soft light of dawn. Somewhere nearby, a bird begins to sing. Birds often sing at the beginning of the day, something scientists call the dawn chorus. All over the earth, before the sun is fully up, birds begin singing into the quiet morning air. Tiny creatures announcing the arrival of a new day. Emily Dickinson wrote, "Hope is the thing that feathers, that perches in our soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all." So imagine that somewhere inside you, there is a small bird of hope, not loud, not dramatic, just quietly perched within you. And that bird is still singing. Take another slow breath and imagine that bird, that small bird resting in your heart space. Its feathers soft, its presence calm. Hope doesn't shout. Hope sings quietly. It reminds us that life is still moving. There are things in this universe that continue again and again. The sun rises, the tide returns. Seeds buried in darkness grow toward the light. Birds begin singing when the morning comes. Your breath keeps arriving. Now gently ask yourself a quiet question. Where is hope perched in my life right now? It might be something small, a relationship, a creative idea, a tiny possibility. Just notice whatever comes. Take one more slow breath in and a long breath out. Remember this: hope may be small, but it is persistent, like the rising sun, like the returning tide, and like the little bird Emily Dickinson wrote about. Hope is always ready to sing again. Let that quiet song stay with you tonight. And wherever you need it, and whenever you need it, you can return to the breath, to the heart, and to the small little bird of hope still singing inside of you. And so it is.
Oh, that was so beautiful. And so it is. As always, after this prayer and the outro, we'll stay and hang out and just have some chit chat. Tonight we'll probably keep it brief, but I'll do a small prayer for us real quick. Just knowing that our time together has been good and that God is expressing as this gathering, as these expressions, as these connections, as these colors and these words that create a ripple of good in the world. And I know that this time is well spent. It causes expansion and curiosity and intuitive hits and trust. So I know that the love that is in the garden expands out, and I want you to know that I love each and every one of you. And I'm so, so grateful. Have a fantastic week. Bye-bye. Here we go. Play, pray, slay. In the dark, gonna make good today. In the dark, gonna create, elevate, celebrate, and love. I'm Amy from the GOG, Garden of Good Creativity. We get free, be me, work it effortlessly. Do what you love and then allow the prosperity. You got this. Make good, make it your own. You know you got the power in your mind, heart, body, and soul to grow dreams, grow faith, grow you. Create authentically in the garden of good. Give, live, and love. In a God gonna do.